Hello and welcome back to the video on Wrestling and to the Royal Rumble 2026 out of 10, the fan favourite event, not only because of the Rumble matches but usually for the several surprises we saw throughout the show. And this year also saw Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre for the world title and AJ Styles putting his call up on line against Gunther. Who would show up and who wouldn't? Let's find out. And we're going to start things off with the Women's Rumble. I'm going to order all of the competitors. Charlotte Flair was in it for the most time, 10 seconds under an hour. Alexa Bliss, Kiana James, Nia Jax, Ivy Nile, Load of Ice eliminated first. Candice LeRae, Jordan Grace, Becky Lynch, Sol Rucker, who made it all the way to the final four. Roxanne Perez, Maxine Dupree, Natty Neidhart, Liv Morgan, who won. Lash Legend, Zelina Vega, Raquel Rodriguez made it to the final four. Chelsea Green, Julia, Io Sky, Oscar, Rhea Ripley, Bailey, JC Jane, Nikki Bella, Lyra Valkyria, Kalani Jordan, Kairi Sane, Brie Bella making a return, and Tiffany Stratton made it to the final four. Let's do a quick recap of the match then. Charlotte Flair, of course, facing off against their tag partner Alexa Bliss to start. It took until there were 8 competitors in the ring for the final elimination to take place, but the second and third followed quickly. Several feuds, past and present, were addressed throughout. Eliminations started coming regularly. They kept a healthy number of competitors in. It included some fun moments, but there's one major complaint to be had. It felt everything was a bit too reversed. It followed a repeating pattern of each new entrant having a short sequence before meshing with the rest. It sounded like the crowd was enjoying themselves, but it was hard to notice. It was a bit choreographed on TV. It wasn't a bad Rumble, but it wasn't the best we've seen. It's also a little surprising that we didn't get more from TNA. It came down to Morgan, Stratton and Rooker at the end, and they fought on the apron, and Morgan was the last one that's standing. Maybe a bit disappointing as well that we didn't see the likes of Paige, AJ Lee and a few other superstars that were rumored, obviously Bianca Belair. So yeah, on the whole, I don't think it's a bad Rumble. I just felt there were several aspects that maybe could have been a bit better. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Then got the next match, AJ Styles versus Gunther, of course hugely anticipated with Styles putting his career on the line. The Ring General won their encounter a few weeks back, but Styles technically made him tap out first, so he was looking to make Oni put Gunther down for good. They started with a headlock sequence that saw Styles trying to weigh Gunther down. He also began to work on the Ring General's legs with some kicks to soften him up for the calf crusher. Pacing themselves used a lot of holds between short bursts of quicker moves. Styles was bleeding from a cut on his arm after being slammed on the announce table. From a technical standpoint, it was fantastic. However, there were times where it felt like they were taking a little too slow, and it kept us about from reaching its peak until later than expected. It didn't make a difference, but it was noticeable. Gunther may be one of the more dominant stars on the roster, but he did a good job making Styles feel dangerous by telling him through at the right times. The longer they worked, the better the match was. It had a few convincing false finishes before it ended with Styles passing out in a sleeper hold. And yeah, it's official. AJ Styles has retired. The arena was silent. While this was not the ending we were hoping for, they still put on a stellar performance, and it would have been a bit long for some, but they filled the last 10 minutes with a lot of drama. And yeah, if that is really it, then thank you AJ Styles. What an incredible career. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. We then got Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the world title. The champ had an 11-0 record against Zayn, so yeah, Zayn was a massive underdog, but he was the overwhelming fan favourite. McIntyre tried to insert his dominant right away, but Zayn didn't let him have the upper hand for too long. Much like Styles and Gunther, they paced themselves and took the time working up to the big stuff, and they didn't make it quite as slow. They were getting near falls earlier in the match. They two always work well together, so there's never any doubt that this would be an entertaining match. Zayn kicked out of a few of McIntyre's finishes, but helped the outcome being as predictable as it may have appeared at first. McIntyre won as expected, but there was moments where it felt like Zayn might actually get the victory, which made it more enjoyable. So yeah, no surprise, but a fun match. 7 out of 10. As we then move on to the men's rumble, I'll go through it again. Obafemi, Bron Breakker, surprisingly first eliminated. Solo Sikoa, Rey Mysterio, Rusev, Matt Cardona, Damian Priest, Javon Evans, Mr. Iguana, surprise appearance, Trick Williams, Cody Rhodes. We then got 2 Grande Americanos, Ludwig Kaiser, followed by the returning Chad Gable, which is good to see. Powerhouse Hobbs debuted as Royce Keys. Then we got Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Ilya Dragunov, La Parker, Dragon Lee, Logan Paul, who made it to the final four, LA Knight, Brock Lesnar, The Miz, Rey Fenix, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, the winner, Jacob Fati, Penta and Randy Orton and Gunther, who both made it to the final four. But yeah, we started with Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce arguing earlier in the day about who was going to start the Rumble. Obafemi ended up drawing number 1. As Braun was entering, he was attacked by manhood. The attacker hit a stomp, which made everyone assume it was Seth Rollins, but could it be like a theory sort of thing? Who knows? Femi easily sent Breakker over the top rope for the first elimination. He eliminated the first 5 people before Priest showed up and offered him a real fight. The ring really started filling up, and By the time we got 20 men, 11 were active. Rose was close to saving himself from elimination when McIntyre showed out of nowhere to deliver a claymore, and that was the first elimination of the match. Fatty was distracted by this to allow his own cousin to eliminate him. Femi and Evans both had strong performance, but neither made it to the final four. Femi lasted longer than most of the others and tied Reigns for the most eliminations, so he's looking strong for a main roster push. Paul, Reigns, Gunther and Orton took a moment to reset when it came down to just them. They paired off, and Paul was the first to get tossed out. The Tribal Chief and Ring Gunther were the final two when all was said and done, and Reigns tossed out Gunther to win the match and earn a shot at WrestleMania. Having Reigns win wasn't the most exciting decisions, but as a whole it was fun. A lot of superstars got the time they deserved, and several storylines were advanced. It might not have been the ending we wanted, but it definitely could have been worse. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The Royal Rumble 2026 gets a 6 out of 10 from me. It might not go down in history as a bad show, but it won't be one of the best either. Morgan winning the Rumble was predictable. Having Styles end his career in Saudi was a strange choice, and while the match was good, it's a bit of a shame how it went out. McIntyre retaining against Zayn was obvious, but I thought it was still a really fun match. And Reigns, with his part-time schedule, I don't know, it kind of feels a bit hard to get invested in. The show had plenty of fun moments. So there were positives, but I just felt like some of the results maybe I'm not too sure about. But let's see where it goes.
This video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.